Hey, Jack.
All right.
Kamala Khan supremacy, am I right?
Yes, you are right. Miss Marvel is really good.
I have also seen it, by the way, and yes, it is very good.
Yeah, there you go. I think I had little to no expectations really of this, so
This was the one I was most worried about because I fucking love the Miss Marvel comics.
yeah, I didn't really have any experience with the Miss Marvel comics, but I really, really enjoyed the vibe they went for here. It felt not dissimilar in tone and art style, I think, to Scott Pilgrim or Into the Spider-Verse, where you're having a lot of kinetic energy, using graphics to support things that are actually happening in and around the characters in the scene, which I think is really cool. But most of all, just the actress that they picked to play Kamala Khan is fucking pitch perfect as like a just sort of disenfranchised teenager who's really into something and her parents just don't understand it. I think that story is never going to not be relatable, and I think if you execute it well, like, I'm going to be a sucker for it 9 times out of 10. But yeah, the basic premise is that she's a massive fan of Captain Marvel, like a super nerd, has her own YouTube channel, which I think they even named the same as her because does she do like fan fiction and stuff in the comics?
Yeah.
Is it like Baby Sloth or something?
Yeah.
And they basically took that premise and gave her a YouTube channel, which makes total sense. It's doing a visual medium in 2022 and nailed it, by the way. And
By the way, I
she
kind of
wants
like
to go.
the fact that her YouTube channel has like 10 views on all her videos. It's not that like she's a viral hit or anything. She's doing it for the passion.
Exactly. She just really, really loves the idea of it, and I think that was super cool.
Do you know what blows my fucking mind?
Go on.
This is her first acting role.
That's crazy, isn't it? Because she's incredible, this actress. She's so good.
Yeah.
And I just think, that the way that they build the character through the episode, of her wanting to do this big, Avenger Con thing that her parents totally don't want her to go to. There's a really heartbreaking moment. To me, the best scene of the episode, I would say, is that they don't, her parents are Pakistani, and naturally they don't want her to be kind of wearing revealing clothes or what they would consider skimpy clothes or something which even she's not particularly comfortable with herself. Like, you see in the episode, she sort of puts on the costume, she's like, it's a bit too tight. She even like tries to tie a scarf around herself to kind of make the outfit like less intrusive or whatever. But the moment where her parents are like, obviously see how much it means to her to go to this Avenger Con event, and to the point where her mum's like asked her dad to accompany her and makes her a Hulk costume, and then her old man bursts in with his face fully painted green, wearing an even bigger Hulk costume to be like, I can take you to the thing. And it's just heartbreaking from both perspectives because she really doesn't want to do that. Like, she's a Captain Marvel stan, she wants to dress as Captain Marvel, and she wants to go with her buddy / potential romantic interest, who, it feels like that's where I kind of drew the parallels with the Spider-Man movies, because I feel like that the sort of supporting character in this is very much just Ned Leeds from the Tom Holland Spider-Man
very much a man
movies,
in a chair.
Yeah, he's a Superman in a chair, but it doesn't matter because I think they build his character really well and they have an interesting relationship. But she's almost put out and upset by their efforts to be able to get her to go, and just the wistful look of her old man when he thinks that she's gonna be really excited and happy, and he's standing there looking sad with his whole head painted green. It's just heartbreaking and hilarious at the same time. And one thing that I think they pitch so well in this episode is that they get the melodrama and emotion that you feel as a teenager down pat really well without it feeling cheesy.
Absolutely everything is the biggest thing in the world.
Exactly. But it doesn't feel cheesy. Like, they pitched it just right, and that was what I loved so much about this, is that from a tonal perspective, it just felt like a really cool teen show. Then you obviously have a bit of super powery stuff happening towards the end because, spoiler alert, Miss Marvel ends up being a powered person. And yeah, I hope I hope they carry the tone and it doesn't just become like another comic book show.
That's legitimate. That was my biggest takeaway. It's like, I liked this first episode so much as just like a grounded show about this family that I'm almost sad it has to be a superhero show now.
Yeah, exactly. But I hope they don't go too far in that direction. But obviously they're going to have to do some superhero stuff. It is. That's the course they're going to go with, and I would imagine that they would want Kamala Khan to be involved in the MCU, and this is kind of introducing her and setting her up and everything. But my God, I just hope they keep the family dynamic, the like her and her brother and her and her parents and like her and her mate and everything. I hope that stays all the way through and it doesn't just become another kind of procedural superhero where they build a big bad and then she just defeats them easily and like you lose the cool subtext and character stuff that they put into the show. But tonally and the feel of this show, it's just so bright, kinetic, and just put a massive smile on my face.
One of the interesting things I think, Jack, is how this acts as like the other side of the coin to The Boys in how it approaches superhero culture in a world where superheroes exist.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, this is The Boys is the show where absolutely everything's the worst. It's the fucking like every way you can think of capitalists exploiting superheroes being real is done. Pretty much every superhero is a massive fucking arsehole, or criminal or worse. Whereas this is just shows the really nice idealistic side of like, this is how I would be if I was a teenager and fucking the snap happened in real life and all that shit. I was like, this is exactly what I'd be like. I was like, these guys are fucking awesome, One thing I also thought was really interesting is how they change. It goes to show where the priorities currently are in the MCU, that they completely changed her origin story from the comics they're lifting from, because in the Marvel Now run of Miss Marvel, she gets her powers because she is an Inhuman.
Yeah, the Terrigen Mists.
Yes,
but they had their chance with Inhumans twice, and they have done it in a way twice that obviously...
It's very funny that like at one stage, because they couldn't have the X-Men, Marvel were pivoting towards like any mutant stuff, it's Inhuman related shit. We're going to really get behind the Inhumans. That shit fucking bombed. And I was like, terrible. Get these people as far away as possible, except you can bring Black Bolt back once to blow his head out.
Oh, they did blow his head clean off, yeah. There's no Terrigen Mists, there's no Terrigenesis. I just think it would have been a lot to introduce that, though. I don't think it would have worked.
Well, you see, like, it happens after the events of... I can't remember, is it Marvel Infinity or something, where basically there's in the comics there's an event, I think it's Marvel Infinity, where there's like something happens on Atalan, the Inhumans kind of floating island thing, and it I can't remember whether all the Terrigen Mist gets released or the island crashes or something like that, but basically like Terrigen Mists are released all over the Earth, waking up a huge amount of potential Inhumans, and that's how like Kama gets her powers.
That did happen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where they did it released into the water supply or whatever, and that's where we get a bunch of humans from.
Yeah, that's essentially what happens in the comics.
Yeah, and then one of those seasons was like a sort of, monster of the week style thing where they were tracking down different Inhumans who were just showing powers.
But in this case, it's it's definitely, we are staying away from that. Her powers seem to be derived from these mysterious bangles that her grandmother had.
Magic bangles.
Yeah. And not just the bangles.
Yeah, there was no eternal flame in this show.
There was not, except that in my heart for this whole show, because it was very, very charming, I think, is the how I'd wrap it up to say.
Yeah, and do you know what? I don't think there's many ways that you could use the song Blinded by the Lights by The Weeknd that wouldn't really irritate me, but it just felt perfect in this show because she's exactly the right age for her favorite song to be Blinded by the Lights by The Weeknd.
Can I say one of my favorite performances of an embarrassingly cringy I'm a cool teacher I've seen in a while?
Oh, the guidance counselor guy. Yeah. Oh, he is shocking, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
I wanted to shout out how this show looks, by the way. I think this show looks great. Yeah. It
looks vibrant.
It actually, like, so many of these Marvel properties, especially the TV shows, are just like dull to look at. They're just so unimaginative. And I think this show's the exact opposite. It's really interesting to look at.